Hey there. So, if you're a writer, you know this feeling, right? You've got the perfect plot, everything is mapped out, but then your character just refuses to play along. What do you do? Well, today we're going to get into this really cool, kind of counterintuitive technique for writing better stories. And it's not about forcing your characters, it's about something way more powerful. Okay, so this right here, this is the core idea for everything we're talking about today. You have to get this. Even though you created them, the second a character walks into your story, they're not your puppet anymore. They're their own person, and you've got to start treating them like one. All right, let's dive into this first big idea, the creator and the independent being. Think about it. Yeah, you're the creator, but what you've created is a truly independent being. And just getting your head around that separation, even if it feels a little weird at first, is seriously the first real step to mastering your writing. And look, this isn't just some big philosophical thing we're talking about for fun. It really matters. When you treat your character like they're a real independent person, that's what lets you guide the story in a way that feels balanced and, has a point. It's the key to making sure the whole thing works and feels complete. Okay, so once you actually accept that your characters are independent, something else happens. It's a natural consequence, really. You're going to run into conflict. And not just any conflict. An inevitable and actually a really necessary one. Yeah, this lays it out perfectly, doesn't it? On one side, you've got your plan, your plot points, all neatly outlined. But on the other side, you've got your character's will, what they want based on their motivations, their fears, their whole backstory. And that tension between your plan and their path, that's not a mistake. That's a sign your character is actually starting to breathe. Exactly. This conflict is a feature, not a bug. So when your character starts fighting you on a plot point, don't freak out. It's a good thing. It means they're alive. They've got a real personality. That conflict is basically the heartbeat of the whole creative process. You gotta lean into it, not run away from it. But what if you don't? What happens when a writer just ignores all this? When you see that conflict and you just decide, no, we're doing it my way. What happens when you just try to force the character to do what you want, no matter who they are? Well, it sets off this disastrous chain reaction. It's pretty predictable, actually. First, you make your character do something that just doesn't fit them. That immediately throws your whole story out of whack. The logic breaks. And trust me, your audience can feel it. The whole thing just ends up feeling weak, hollow, just incomplete. This quote just nails it. You can't just be a dictator with your characters. That forceful, my way or the highway attitude, it's a dead end. It just doesn't work. When your character starts resisting, you can't just push harder. You've got to completely change your game plan. And that brings us to the solution, to that secret weapon we talked about at the beginning. So if forcing them doesn't work, what's left? What do? Simple. You persuade them. Okay, so what do we even mean by persuasion here? It's not about manipulation or trickery. It's all about empathy. It's about solving that conflict by understanding your character so deeply that you can find a way forward, a way that works for your plot, and is totally true to who they are. And to be able to persuade them, you have to know them inside and out. I mean, everything. This is where the real work of a writer comes in. You've got to dig deep into their past experiences, their core values, their biggest fears, what gets them out of bed in the morning. You need to know their personality so well that you know exactly what they do in any situation. That is your persuasion toolkit. So let's put this all together. All this back and forth, this negotiation you have with your character, that's not a distraction from writing the story. That is writing the story. It's the path, and it's how you get to that one thing every writer is chasing. Because at the end of the day, that whole process, listening to your character, arguing with them, figuring out how to persuade them, that's what makes a good story a great one. It's what takes a bunch of plot points and turns it into something that feels real, something that resonates with people. This deep kind of engagement is what leads to this amazing concept called 완성도. That's 완성도. It's a Korean word, and it's kind of hard to translate perfectly, but it means completeness, wholeness. That feeling you get when a story is just perfectly balanced, where every single piece just clicks into place. This process is how you get your story to 100% of what it could be. So I want to leave you with this question. Think about a character you're writing right now. I mean, really think about them. If you treat them like a real person, what's the one thing they're disagreeing with you about? What part of your plot are they getting ready to fight you on? You need to listen, really listen, because what they're trying to tell you, that might just be the key to making your story absolutely incredible.